All right, how's that? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Now, now, now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah, now you can hear me. Awesome, thank you. All right, so today I had to take it off my radio and stuff like this. So today we're going to talk about just the care of the shrimp. So we'll go back to what I was trying to say and everything. So I don't use tap water with my shrimp. I use RODI water. RODI water is reverse osmosis deionized water. Why I like that is because it's 100% pure. There's no impurities in there. There's no minerals in there. Everything's 100% stripped out, and then you put in what you want. A lot of you guys don't realize a lot of cities can dose stuff in the water systems, and they don't have to 100% let you know. The rule of thumb, at least here in Minnesota, as long as they don't treat it year round, they don't have to let you know. So the place where I'm at in Plymouth, they dose chloramine. Chloramine is kind of like a chlorine, but it's a little bit cheaper. What happens is it binds with ammonia and it can actually bypass your system, your drinking system, and actually you're dosing chloramine and ammonia in your tank. So I just like using RODI water and then I remineralize it myself. So on my large tanks, I like to remineralize with the Dennerley Shrimp King brand remineralizers. It's just like any other remineralizer that you're going to go over and get, whether or not it's shrimpy salt or anything else, GH plus. It's the same. It's the same chemical compound, you guys. Um, on the small tanks, I like using Brightwell. It's the liquid. I use the GH and the GHKH. It's a convenience factor. Shake it up really good, and then squirt it in the tank, and then put your TDS meter in there. If you guys are asking what TDS stands for, it's Total Dissolved Solids. It's a small little TDS pen I have on my website. There we go. And then you can check it out. Now, on Neocaradinas, I like to have my water remineralized. The TDS is 220 to 300. Now, what that chemical compound breakdown is, the TDS is 220 to 300, is the GH is, which is general hardness, which is 6 to 8, and I'm sorry, 4 to 6, and the KH was, which is calcium carbonate, which is 6 to 8. That's the 220 to 300. Now, can you have a little bit higher or a little bit lower than that? Yes, you can. But I have to come up with a baseline that I let you guys know. Otherwise, you guys are going to keep on going all the way up, right? So for the Caradina, I like to have a TDS of 115 to 130. That's a GH of 4 to 5 and no KH in the water at all. So if you're going to have um, Caradinas, you cannot have any KH in the water. So don't put no zero rock in there. Don't put no rocks that reach out, rocks that leach out anything. So I'm just trying to see. Let's see. Carbon, hi, how you doing? Monster Fish, how you doing? There's a Facebook user. Remember, if you're on Facebook, I don't know who you are. You have to put your name on there. There's my website. Thank you. Thank you to my moderators. I know JL's not on here yet. He'll probably be on a little bit later. I didn't plan this one out, guys, so it happens. Also, what size tank? Everybody always asks, what size tanks should I have and stuff. Now, the larger the footprint, so the footprint means how much surface space is actually there. The larger the footprint, the better it is. So the ideal breeding, if you want to breed for profit, is a 20 long. It's ideal. It's perfect size. But I've gone all the way to 2.5. I've had over 300 shrimp into 2.5. So the bigger the water volume that you have, the more stable the water is. Um, so what I do is, like, when I set up a tank, I put the substrate in there, which is your soil. I put a little bit of water. I put my bacteria in there. I use these little vials called Protobio Start. I put 2 of the Bacter soils in, and then I wait a half hour, fill up the tank, put the other 2 vials in. It's Protobio Startup, and then I remineralize to what I need, and then I let it go. Now, I tell people you need to let your tank go through a nitrate cycle. That's where the nitrate converts over. So it usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. Now, if you have a seeded filter, it goes a little bit faster, but that's what I recommend. Now, I know on the ProtoBio vials, it says you can start a tank and put shrimp in there within 6 hours. Can you do that? You can, but I don't. If you want to have longevity of like healthy shrimp, I'll just let it go through a whole entire cycle. That's what I'll do. All right, so Ed, I literally just talked to Lynn. Lynn said she got rid of you like a couple minutes before. Yeah, I was going through Kimball. So, but yeah, so that's the bacteria I put in there. And then I like using sponge filters. So sponge filters hold more healthy bacteria than anything else that you're going to put in your tank. I like the shrimp like scavenging on there, the little fry like going on there, the little shrimpies, little shrimpettes like going on there. And then I like to feed twice a week. So when I feed my shrimp, it's based on how many shrimp you actually have in the tank. So an average pellet that you drop in there usually feeds about 20 to 30 shrimp. Sorry about this weird ass thing. 20 to 30 shrimp in there. So I like to feed twice a week, and I put an Indian almond leaf and a piece of cholla wood in there so they can scavenge on that too. That's what always works for me. So water change, you should do a water change minimum once a month is ideal for their molting. I like to do it every 2 weeks. I go through a lot of livestock. Just FYI, everybody, I did get a fresh batch of Vin shrimp yesterday. 1,500 shrimp from Vin through his wholesaler in the United States here, Eric Lucas from BuyPetShrimp.com. So I just got a whole order. I also got fresh plants coming tomorrow. A huge batch of fresh plants. So it's going to be super cool. Any comments? If you guys have any questions, shoot some questions and everything. So I'm driving, so it's nothing to lose my mind there. Otherwise, yeah, the store's coming out good. It's summertime right now. We haven't converted back to summer hours. We're still at the whole winter hours. Trying to give everybody, the option to come in at any time they want. It is kind of slow during the week right now. So, Fishing Tangents, how you doing? I'm out of shrimp food. I need find a sample to see what I'm working with. Well, what I use is for food is I use the Shrimp King brand. Shrimp King brand, it's a little bit spendier. It's not too much spendier for what you get in there, but it's a good quality shrimp. I use the complete. You can use the 5-in-1, which has a bunch of different samples of all their whole entire product line in there. You can also use. I like the protein. I like the mineral. I like the baby for the small little shrimpettes that go in there. It works really good for me. But if you want to Fishing Tangents, if you want to put an order in on my website of something, and just put in the notes, food sample, I can give you a food sample if you want. So I don't have a problem with that. I think I got some food samples there. The problem is when I got in the hobby back in 2017, everybody that sold shrimp had food samples. But then the problem is nobody bought food. Everybody just got these food samples from people, and that was it. So that's kind of why everybody kind of stopped really giving out food samples. So I know it's such a bad angle with the freaking. Let's see if I can put it up higher. Better. So I don't see the steering wheel in my face. So yes. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just out in the boat today. And then let's see. Shrimp came in yesterday. Plants come in tomorrow. What else? I did an order. So like last week, before the end of the week, I had Jonathan Butkus from Owase stop at the store. So I ordered a few products, sample amount. So I got a few of, I think I got his skimmer, a couple of his hang-on bags, a couple of some products to try it out. So I should have that on the website if you guys love Owase or not. So otherwise, yeah, June. No, soon going to shows and everything else. Questions right there. But yeah, I was going to be doing this in my store, and unfortunately, I kind of overslept today. So I didn't get up early to drive to my store to do this live. So, yeah. What do you do? So, all right. So back to care of the shrimp and everything else. So I use RODI water. I use the remineralizers, which larger tanks, anything that's over a 20-gallon tank, I'm going to use a powder form. It's you get more bang for the buck. It lasts a little bit longer. Can you make a slurry? So like when I ran the International Shrimp Contest, I ran a slurry. So I'd probably take a quarter of the container, put it in a 1-gallon jug, put gallon RO in there, mix it as concentrated. So that works great. So I did that, and then so we have the remineralizers, feeding twice a week, water change minimum once a month. Almond leaves, I like having almond leaves in there. I like having cholla wood in there, or as everybody says, cholla wood. Us people from Minnesota, cholla wood. So yeah, and that's how I care for my shrimp. I like getting fresh blood in there. Usually twice a year, if I have a good line going, I like to put a little fresh blood in there, make sure that it's nice and strong, the genetics. You do have to call. Now, a lot of people go over and say, well, I'm about a pure line of PFRs, and every once in a while you're going to get out something, because all the shrimp derive from a wild color. And what happened was a few of the shrimp started shooting out specific colors, and someone took those and started line breeding them. So even if it's 0.0005, you still have a possibility of getting the wild one out there. So you have to go over and call. It is what it is. What I like to do with my calls is I have a tank that's sitting in the back, and local teachers. If local teachers want to set up an aquarium in their classroom, I like to get these for the kids and everything. So otherwise, yeah, we're still kind of like recuperating from the Minnesota Co-op. It was a great get together for all you guys that are watching that came. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. We had about 1,000 people show up. The store did good. All the vendors did good. So, Darlene Beckett Anderson, good morning. How you doing? So yeah, and if you guys have more questions about raising shrimp, you guys can always feel free to reach out and talk to me, or reach out and shoot the question here in this chat. I have a Rolodex of information in my head, and if you guys don't ask me the questions, it's hard for me to answer all your guys' questions. So, but yeah, just driving around. I did get a new shrimp mobile. We got a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT Sport. Yeah, unfortunate, it's a Ford. They just had good leasing terms for business. So, but yeah, the shrimp mobile lives on. Driving the shrimp mobile around. So, the Nano Aquarium guy, hello, how are you doing? Jay. Oh, so yes. Otherwise, yeah, the garden's coming out good. So I went to my dad's last weekend for Father's Day. We had lettuce pop up, and we had some fresh salads, which is pretty good. So probably go harvest some more. On the way back, if you're still watching, we'll be swinging back. And when we swing back, I'm going to drop you off I made some beef barley vegetable soup. So I'll be dropping you off the beef barley vegetable soup. Joan said she wanted it, so she's going to get that. But yeah, guys, next week I should be back on my regular schedule, hopefully, for hopping on my lives. I know my OCD, it's going to go bounce back and forth, ADD and OCD. So, but yeah, the store's coming out good and everything. I should give you guys a tour of what's all going on. So, beef barley vegetable soup looked delicious. It is delicious. I have never made vegetable soup. Okay, I'm a meat eater, so of course I had to add steak in there. So I had some beef stew steak that was cubed up, and we ended up throwing it in there. And I wanted to put barley in this. So I put some barley in there and a bunch of vegetables. So it was like a smorgasbord of flavor. So, hello, Megan. How are you? Since you're saying hi, Joe, twice. But yes, it was a smorgasbord of flavor. I don't know. I like making soups. I'm a big soup person. So we ended up doing like a beef broth. I know it calls for vegetable broth, but we did a beef broth. And then we did the steaks and garlic, and we did some celery, and we did all these different types of vegetables and potatoes and stuff. And then I put a couple things of tomato paste in there for the umami, earthy taste. Umami. And let's see, Darlene, Becky, it was yummy. I ate 3 bowls. So I'm gonna bring my dad a thing of frozen. I like to freeze and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm just driving out and about. Got some things to go do. So, if you guys saw my Joe Shrimp Shack group page for the Father's Day post, I actually recently did a aquascape. Well, actually, I didn't. So, when Melanie Holmes came up here, the Queen of Darkwater came up here to do aquascaping for our show for Minnesota Co-op. She volunteered to do a tank for a church. It's a church in Watertown, St. Mary's Church. It's a Catholic church. He purchased a tank for his sitting room. She did the hardscape. I planted it all set up. That was the picture on the group page. So, Fish Fam link. But yeah, he's super happy with it. Now he's going through the cycle. He's going to keep the dark water, put some shrimp in there, keep the dark water look for it. So I think he's thinking like CPDs in there, which is super cool. This goes right here. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it was super yummy and stuff. But the care of shrimp is super simple. I always tell people, like, if you want to be successful in shrimp, leave them alone. You know, everybody thinks I have to put my hands in the tanks and stuff, but people don't realize, like, hey, I went to go fill up gas and I got a drop of gas in my finger and it evaporated. Well, as soon as you get your hands wet, everything that was on your hands goes back in the tank. Lotions, aerosols, like if you guys have candles in the room, if you guys have the little fart sprays and everything else, it gets sprayed in there, the small molecules break up, the air pump sucks it up and pushes the tank, and all of a sudden you can have issues. Another thing people do is they have the light on for too long. They cycle a tank and they keep the light on for 12, 14 hours, and all of a sudden they have algae issues. Well, limit the light. My store is open 5 hours a day because I only keep the light on for 5 hours a day. It looks like hobo soup. Throw every vegetable in it. Yep. No, this is planned. It wasn't hobo soup. It was planned. Okay. I planned to put steak in there. Okay. I planned every vegetable that I bought and I put in there. Yeah, I bought the vegetable. They come from the garden. It was kind of like hobo soup, whatever you could find. So, but it was good. I liked it. So that's all that matters. But no, so kind of limit what goes around in your aquarium, you know, and for sprays and for candles. If you're gonna put your hands in the tank, just make sure they're clean. You have no residual stuff on there. The less you do for a shrimp tank, the better it actually is. The more you do for a shrimp tank, the more stress you can possibly do. So some shrimp, you know, if they feel stressed and everything, they just won't breed. Everybody thinks all these breed like rabbits. No, they have feelings. You know, I play my berry white to get them to breed. So yeah, but we had like tons of shrimp come in this week. So yes, if you guys are looking, go ahead and purchase them. The moderator will throw up the website on here too. I always give some extra when I do ship. If you are in the Minnesota area, I do have a flat rate of $17 for shipping. But what happens with the $17 for shipping is if your shipping only costs $12, I give you some free stuff to make up for it. So if you're in Minnesota, I'm offering a shirt special. So if you purchase a shirt for $25, if you're in Minnesota, you come, I'll give you a $10 livestock credit. So you get $10 in either fish, shrimp, or plants. I consider plants livestock too. So thank you, Lori, for putting my link up there. I'm going to click right there. There's the link for the website right there if you guys are looking for some shrimp. But otherwise, this was going to be